Dominique Dawes fell short at last April's World Championships. Dawes is back, leading the American team in their first meet since the Worlds. Her physical strength is unmatched. But she knows mental preparation is crucial to avoid past mistakes.
I'm nervous usually before every competition, big or small. I guess my nerves usually help me a lot to get through my competitions, because if I'm not nervous, I usually think there's something wrong.
The Americans must be flawless as they face China and Belarus at the Hilton Gymnastics Challenge. It requires endurance.
Hello everyone, I'm Julie Moran and welcome to Wide World of Sport. Gymnastics has been a tradition on our show for more than 30 years. In the early 70s, we first brought you historic dual meets between the United States, China, and the Soviet Union. Well, today that tradition continues with the Hilton Gymnastics Challenge, a tri-meet that features three of the sport's powerhouses, China, the United States, and from the former Soviet Union, Belarus. Dominique Dawes had a disappointing World Championships in April. She once again finished out of the medals due to her poor performance in the vault. But today she is back and she leads the U.S. team. Now let's join John Neighbor, Kathy Johnson, and Bart Connor in Phoenix.
Today we travel to Arizona and the home of Sir Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns. We're at the America West Arena downtown, where today the lights are shining bright on the Hilton Gymnastics Challenge. 12 athletes from 3 teams divided into 2 groups which rotate around the arena floor vying for points in the team and all-around competition. Young gymnasts have turned out en masse to witness the performances of many of the best competitors in the sport on all 4 Olympic apparatus. Let's begin with one of the world's finest all-around performers. They call her Awesome Dawson. She's 17-year-old Dominique Dawes from Silver Spring, Maryland.
And we'll be seeing a new vault from Dominique. This is not the vault she performed at the World Championships. The handspring front pike, beautiful position in the air.
We've seen her perform other vaults in the past to disappointing results. Dominique reflected on that.
I guess I wasn't really focusing on what I knew I could do. I was just worrying about, I guess, negative things. Also thinking about last year's vault and probably what happened if I overdid it from last year. But, I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I was frustrated at that point, but after that, when I walked away, I was fine about it.
She's taking a little pressure off by doing a safer vault here. So with a 9.55 earned on her first of 2 vaults, she tries her second attempt.
This shows that Dominique is really focused on college gymnastics. This is a very strong vault for the collegiate women. Beautiful in the air, and it's such a difficult vault to land because it's a blind landing. You don't have the opportunity to see the floor before you make the landing. You have to feel for it, and she had a pretty large step on that. That will be the only deduction.
The reason this vault is safer is because it's less complicated than the one she tried at the Worlds. But if she did it perfectly, she could only get a maximum of a 9.8 here.
Dawes' second vault earns a 9.65 for an average of 9.6. On the bars, Svetlana Pedasevich from Belarus. She's 14 years of age, a 9th grader.
And we have all been so amazed at this gymnast throughout the workouts. She has an outrageous level of difficulty on most of the events. Beautiful transition to high bars. Look how straight her body line is. Everything finished right in handstand. Beautiful tough front release.
Unusual transition.
She's so tiny she can swing straight through the bottom, just barely bending her leg to miss the low bar. Look at that. Full in dismount.
Now, according to the rules, the gymnasts have to transfer between the bars a minimum of 3 times. This transition is unique. She's only 4 feet 7, and the fact that she's short allows her to make this transition perfectly.
Pedasevich earns a 9.65 for that routine, a slightly higher score than Dawes earned on the vault. Some great gymnastics performances still to come here at the Hilton Challenge. We've got 4 athletes representing each of 3 different countries, China, Belarus, and the United States. They're vying for titles in 2 events, the individual all-around as well as the team competition. We just saw America's hope, Dominique Dawes, perform, and Kathy Johnson, one might have to say she is the class of this field.
She is phenomenally talented, and it's been so exciting to watch her progress and excel over the last 2 years. She unfortunately had falls at the World Championships both in '93 and '94, where she almost won the all-around there. This could be our final year to see her in international competition. She's chosen to go on to Stanford on a college scholarship, which has been a goal of hers for a long time. She will have some competition here, though, and we're going to see some young kids, 12 and 14 years of age, doing outrageous skills in gymnastics. A little rough, a little inexperienced, but a lot of fun and very exciting.
Now, Bart Conner, this is an international competition. Where will the American challenge come from?
Well, I think the biggest challenge for the U.S. should come from a pair of powerhouse gymnasts from Belarus. You saw already Svetlana Tadashevich on the bars, exciting routines, and her teammate, Yelena Piskun, who's the former world champion on the vault. Both of these young ladies have a very high level of difficulty in their routines. They're really exciting to watch. Now, for the Chinese team, they're virtual artists on the balance beam and on the uneven bars, and they'll give us some highlights there as well.
On the bars, Yelena Piskun from Belarus. She's 16 years of age, already victorious at the '93 World Championships in the vault.
Elena really is dynamic on this event. Very high level of difficulty. She doesn't quite have the body line that we see from the Chinese gymnasts. But watch the position. Beautiful height in the air, and look at that, right to a handstand.
That's the best I've ever seen that done.
Roll over. The dismount. Pike up and lay out. Phenomenal landing.
There's two outstanding parts to this routine. The first one is this huge release move. You don't see many of these anymore, and look how high it is. Now, what's most impressive about this routine is the transition right here. All gymnasts want to land in the handstand, but few have the guts to go for the handstand on the low bar.
9.75 is Piskun's score on bars, and that's the highest mark earned in the early rotation. So at the end of the first rotation, our leaders in the all-around battle are Piskun, followed by American Katie Teft, Svetlana Tarasevich, and Dominique Dawes is in 5th place. Gymnastics is a truly international sport, and today, 3 of the superpowers of the sport have convened here after some extensive travel. China's team made the journey from their capital almost 6,500 miles to Phoenix, Arizona. And the team from the former Soviet Republic, Belarus, flew almost 6,000 miles to the American Southwest to see its bright sunshine and picturesque saguaro cactus. But it was an athlete from this country who won this year's Hilton Bounce Back Award in honor of her overcoming a disappointment at last year's World Championships to remain one of the top performers in her sport. The winner, Dominique Dawes. Dawes has announced her plans to attend Stanford in the fall of 1995, but now she's over at the uneven bars.
She was a silver medalist on this event in '93. Watch the precision and power of this routine. And you can see it coming up right here. A 1.5 turn right on top of the bar to a handstand on low bar. Pull out on the dismount. So crisp and clear. Everything is just perfectly placed.
I'm sure that routine is going to get a good score, but in my opinion, it really lacks a big release move to be a world-class routine. She will get, however, bonus points for this combination here.
Dawes earns a 9.8. That should help her in the all-around standings, not to mention the team event. Next up on the beam is Svetlana Tarasevich, who was 6th in the all-around at this year's European Championships.
The most exciting part of this routine is the dismount. We couldn't believe it when we saw it in the workout. Never seen it before. It's a double front. She's such a talented gymnast in terms of her acrobatics, but notice she doesn't quite have the amplitude on her leap, and she's a little tight when she moves. Her shoulders are too high, so it doesn't give her a fluid, elegant look. She has plenty of difficulty in the routine as well. Too many out step outs. Oh no. That's inexperience. She actually wasn't that much off in terms of her alignment over the beam. She second-guessed the landing.
Normally when you see a young 14-year-old gymnast like this, they're rather timid. She is so aggressive and assertive. Very confident.
Now watch this. Here it comes. Double front. Look at that. I can't tell you how difficult that is, much less to land that well. Now watch here. A more experienced gymnast probably would have been able to save this. On the second layout, notice her left foot does not come down on the beam with the toes on the beam. Very difficult to get your balance and freeze the landing.
Tarasevich gets an 8.925 from the judges, but like most gymnasts, she appears more concerned with how her coach feels about her routine. Wang Yushin from China is over at the bars.
She has a very difficult combination in this routine. Right here, reverse hack to a reverse hack front. Well done. Oh, a little check on that handstand. Beautiful work. Oh, no. Unfortunately, I suspected some bad landings from the Chinese up on the bars because they were not practicing that strong. So they're getting a little weak toward the end of the routine. It's really hard to pull off this difficult dismount.
Well, Kathy, it was a great routine, but only a 9.325 score from the judges. Had she not made that mistake on the dismount, she would have received the highest marks in the contest. We'll be back with more. Of whom is Amanda Borden, a 17-year-old from Cincinnati, Ohio, who likes competing against the best in the world.
Well, I definitely think it's an important competition because it's an international competition, and you can see how you're ranked with other countries. And I'm very excited because I had a great meet last year, and I'm looking forward to having even a better meet this year. So.
Borden was a finalist at this year's World Championships on the uneven bars.
She had an unfortunate fall there because she really is outstanding on this event. That's what she fell on at the World Championship. Oh, a little bit off on the transition down to the low bar. Not a big deal. Big release move. Nicely done. Now watch this dismount. It's hard to land. Very difficult. Double front. Oh! That's about the best we've seen her do that.
That was an excellent landing, and what she does here is she does what we call cowboying it, pulling her knees apart, which allows her to spin faster as well as spot the landing a little sooner.
Borden gets a 9.7 from the judges. That's a strong score and will help the U.S. in the team battle. Over at the beam, Elena Piskun from Belarus, one of the potential candidates for the all-around title here.
Elena does a very high level of difficulty, very risky on this event. Great combination. Elena competed at the World Championships and at the European Championships. So she's a little bit tired, but fortunately she's in real good competition shape. Here it is, back handspring to a full.
Wow.
Very difficult.
You know, when we first saw her on the international scene, she was very sloppy, and her dance style has seemed to improve a little bit. She's more fluid in her movements, more elegant.
It's a good landing on this dismount. Double pike. Very well done.
You're right, there was a ton of difficulty in the routine. This mount is unusual. The front